Because you can't drink off of my drink. I don't share my Sprite. Okay, let's rock and roll, man. And it's Maris Keeps It Real. And today I'm joined by my good friends, the posse, my rock star friend, Michael. Alright, I guess Michael's here too, you know. Matthew. Hello, Archangel Michael. And Gabby, I had to look at her to make sure she hadn't transformed into somebody else, you know. You never know about this shit these days.
It's 2020,
you know. It was like, yeah, no, I was going to make a comment, and I thought, no, I better not make that comment. Hello? Okay, yeah, it's still working. I was like looking at the thing, and it looked really weird. Make sure that the mics are on. Yeah, they're on. They're on like full blast. Alright, so today is Sunday, December, 27th, 2020. So we've got 4 days left of 2020.
Well, it's almost over.
I know, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I wonder if around March 26th that any of us had any idea or clue or insight how long this was going to drag on.
Not a clue.
I remember it was like 2 weeks to slow it down. It's just 2 weeks. Well, it's just 2 more weeks. It turns into 2 months, 2 seasons. So we went through spring, summer, fall, and now the beginning of winter. So I was like, so we've had every season in COVID. What was different for you, like holiday-wise? Because it didn't seem like Christmas to me at all.
I didn't feel like Christmas this year. Thanksgiving, we had still a lot of people over, but Thanksgiving felt still, but Christmas just didn't. There was so much different.
I was gonna say usually I have like families together, so I would go to 3 different houses, and so this year it was only 2. But I will agree with Matt that it didn't feel like Christmas, or it didn't feel like that cohesiveness of having like family and the emotion behind it, and like really that Christmassy feel.
It was like a 2-dimensional Christmas is what just came to my head. It was 2-dimensional. It was like sitting back and watching like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, or Home Alone, you know, with Macaulay Culkin, and you know, whatever. It was like watching Christmas on a TV screen or a money screen, a movie screen. Yeah. I was like, there was, even at the stores, when you'd go to the store, the only thing that was Christmas was the Ding Dang candy display. You know, like like the Hershey's and stuff, and they'll have like the Christmas candy, like the Reese's peanut butter cups are in bell shaped.
Yeah.
I think they had Santa hat kisses, Hershey kisses, in the shape of a Santa hat.
They do them in the shape of a Santa too, yeah.
Yeah, well, I saw them because I almost bought a bag. And then I started looking at them, and I go, really? They look like a wrapped turd. You know? You know, like the emoji for a turd. And I was like, I'm good. I was like, I'm good. Every time I'll pop it in my mouth, I'll just think about popping a piece of poop. So I was like, no, I'm good. I was like, but I'll take the little Reese's peanut butter cup bells, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and then I was like, I'm sure something will come up, and they'll go, you know what those really look like?
I'm done, I can't.
Well, you know. And then we grilled steak out. We grilled out for Christmas dinner, and to me that was really weird. Because it's not like we live in Florida or Southern Cali, you know, where it's kind of expected. You know, that you would be, that you would be grilling out or cooking, you know, being outside at the beach or whatever.
Okay,
you know,
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
so,
you know, and then, so it's like, this is winter time and Christmas time, and normally we think about it at least being cold, if not snowy, and maybe even icy. And it's like, if there's one freaking day out of the year that it can snow, why can't it be Christmas? You know,
It's not the week before.
That's true.
no shit. We were like, what, the month, like a month before? When did we have that crazy snowstorm?
It was back
That was
in October.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was like-
it was like the end. It was like towards the end of October. Which
We
is
just
we
had
didn't have
another
power on
one.
Halloween, yeah.
No, that was an ice. Well, I was like, I considered
ice
that like
and
a
then
ice storm.
the ice storm.
And then
the
we
snow.
had snow just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was like almost 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so why couldn't that have happened on the 24th and 25th? And then have the 70-degree weather on the 26th and melted it all away. I was like, come on, Mother Nature, get in harmony with me. You know?
Yeah, just
Not me getting in harmony with Mother Nature. She's got to go to my, you know.
you come to me, I don't come to you.
Yeah, so I was just like, yeah. But it didn't really feel, even, you know, it's like you go to the store, it didn't feel like Christmas. I was like, well, I didn't even go to the mall, so it's like I can't even say where was Santa Claus, because he may have been at the mall. It was
It was
just
still
me.
there. It was just,
Yeah.
but they're like, you know,
Social
people
distance.
like
They can't be on Santa's lap or like close to him. They literally have to be 6 feet apart. Like that's like
Santa! I would be the kid with the megaphone. Santa!
that would be a
Please,
great Christmas
you know.
picture.
give me a bike.
Ensure you are receiving this message.
I need a dolly.
Send it Morse code, bump, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, you know. Whatever I gotta do, flashcards.
Oh, that would
Santa!
be funny.
Sign it.
You know.
That would be really funny.
No, I would be the kid with the megaphone, you know, like seriously. This is what I want, you know. Make sure I get it. I was, yeah. It was just like, it never felt like Christmas to me. We didn't even really, I think I like saw one of my sons and then a grandson for maybe 15, 20 minutes. And it was like, social distance. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not into that
I was gonna
anymore.
say majority. Well, on my mom's side, some of my family members are like that because a lot of them have some of them have pre-existing condition. Not all of them, but they were more cautious of gathering. Now on my fiance's side, there were some that were. But the ones that we usually always see every holiday, like Thanksgiving or Christmas, or they kind of invite us to do something, they were like, oh yeah, just come over. Well, you know, it was just kind of like they cared, but it was like we cared more about being with family. Like we know that we have the potential of, you know, getting sick, but as long as we take care of each other, like everything would be fine. Which honestly, I was really surprised that they actually were open and invited us. So...
I know a man that goes from home to the hospital to his outpatient clinic, home, outpatient clinic, and he got COVID-19. Okay, so nobody comes to his house. He doesn't go anywhere, you know. And I'm like, I'm. If you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. So do good things for your body. Your body is your temple. Take care of your temple. Love on yourself, keep your vibration high. There's got to be some kind of crazy link that we're putting, you know, that we need to figure out about COVID.
Somebody said there's like certain blood type that's more at risk. I think it's like AB.
Yeah, ABs are at higher risk. And I was like, and what about, you know, and I was...
Well, they said like those are the ones who like die from COVID.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
Really?
O positive, O
certain blood
negative.
types, you're more likely to die of COVID than survive it.
Yeah, O's are known to have, or, you know, from what they've been researching, that technically, many O's, no, not technically, but hypothetically, or statistically, that's the word, that O positive, O negative folks, or O blood type, are less likely to have severe symptoms or even express or exhibit symptoms. They may be a carrier, but they don't exhibit. And then it was like A, B, and ABs are the ones that have it or exhibit it more severely or die from it. So, but I was like, I think it's probably like all over the place. And some of us have been exposed to it a million times. Some of us, I was like, but I look at it just like in any disease, in anything, that you have to be the perfect host for it.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
So, and to be the perfect host for dis-ease, you either have
you're out of whack.
Emotionally out of whack, physically out of whack, or spiritually out of whack. And if you're out of whack 1, 2, 3, you're probably more likely to get any kind of disease, from diabetes to high blood pressure to obesity to eating disorders, herpessyphilis, we had to be promiscuous kind of to get that one, but it's all about your vibration and what you choose to do with your vibration. And when you're so if you're choosing negative things, that's what kind of vibration you're going to get. I smoke cigarettes, I smoke cannabis too, but I smoke cigarettes. And I'll go through periods where I don't smoke for like several weeks or several months, and then I'll start smoking up again, and then I'll put them down. So it's still a negative vibration. My 2021 is to stop smoking cigarettes in 2021. It's like, it's a negative vibration. And literally, it's like I light a cigarette, and I think there's 716 different chemicals, and one of them makes up cat urine that I'm about to inhale. And then you notice about the third time you're going to go take a puff, you're like, I'm puffing in cat pee? I don't know about that, And then by the, before you get to the end of the cigarette, you're like, why am I doing this? I think I'm going to go out and grow my own tobacco in my backyard. And I'll just roll my own tobacco. And
next to the weed plant.
Right next to the weed plant. So I just decided, I just said to myself, I said, because that's going to be a hassle, trying to dry your tobacco. And I was like, I'm already drying all my cannabis and all the other herbs and stuff. So I was like, just screw it. I'll just smoke weed. Smoke it like a cigarette. And then, usually by the third cigarette you've done forgot while you're smoking. So I'm like,
I wish they were able to get those here. They probably won't just do recreational though.
What? Oh.
They sell those.
What, cigarettes made of cannabis?
Yeah, weed cigarettes.
Okay, so what chemicals are in it though?
Nothing. It's just basically joints.
Okay, so why don't you just call it a joint?
I don't know, because it's a little packet. It's a cute little packet.
Okay, so it's like those blunts that I bought.
Yeah.
I was like, Lotus Gold has some phenomenal blunts. I'm just saying, I'm going to give some, kudos here to Lotus Gold. And no, I'm not being paid to say that, but yeah.
However, if you all do want to do a sponsorship.
Yeah, we'd be happy to accept your sponsorship. So if anybody wants to sponsor us, because we would really like some cool equipment. Gabby wants headphones. That's what I'm blaming her for. She wants the headphones, but it's actually me too. And I think Matthew would look kind of cute with his, puffy hair and the headphones. I think it would look really kind of cool.
Although if it's a dispensary who is sponsoring us, the product would help too. So
Matthew says he needs the product.
Of the edible variation.
Yeah, he likes edibles. I made some brownies today and brought them in. So, has anybody noticed anything about the brownies? Negative?
No, nothing negative. It's very subtle. I think that's why I'm like super relaxed. Cause I'm like,
yeah, they're bedtime brownies. That's what I call them. I make bedtime gummies and bedtime brownies, because it's not always good to smoke. I mean, really, when you think about it, I mean, I'm a huge advocate of cannabis, but you really don't want to sit there and just be putting smoke down your throat all day long. So edibles,
it's hard on your lungs, yeah.
It's hard on your lungs, and edibles are, really pretty good. They just take a little bit longer, other than the Jello shots you were talking about last night. So I was like,
And
but
the
I'm
water
still,
juice, and
yeah.
the juice hits hard, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm working on my technique in extracting. So it's like, so I'm a work in progress. So thank you for being my testers, though. We're like, yeah, we like kind of dig working for her. You know, we work for weed. No, I'm just kidding.
I saw one else. What was it? Saw some guy on the street corner one time that was saying, "I just need a joint," and everybody's giving him money like crazy.
Oh, I know.
Granted, he was shirtless and had a six-pack, so I mean, they were kind of probably not even looking at the sign. So
Yeah, but no, they're like, yeah, let me tip that, right? But no, I like that guy. There's a couple of guys that I've seen on the panhandlers on the street corners. It said,
just need a blunt. That's all I need.
Looking for a blunt. Yeah. There are times that, we're also probably had smoked a little bit, but we would talk about, we grew a whole bunch this year. And so the market's pretty thick, so heavy. So it's like, nothing's really moving, and that's cool. I'm cool with that. And he sat there and he thought, you know what, we ought to just roll up a bunch of joints and go like drive down and give them to the panhandlers. And I'm like, dude, no.
They would love that though.
They would, honestly.
I was like, yeah, and I'm like, we'd be in jail, like so.
You
fast.
get a cop, you get the one that's a cop. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I would, Like, hey, here's a buck and a joint. Here's a buck and a joint. Here's a buck and a joint.
And you can roll it and smoke it together if you want.
Now don't be smoking that damn money, girl. But no, yeah. Yeah, you can go over here and get a big gulp. A big gulp and a joint.
Hey, at least it helps with, being thirsty, so it works out perfectly fine.
Go,
Exactly.
Helps with the cottonmouth afterwards.
Yeah, the cottonmouth afterwards, but yeah. And then, I have, so I'll bake. I made, not lotion.
Lotus.
I made fudge. I made fudge and brownies. Made fudge, brownies, gummies. It was so funny. I hand my son a gummy, and it was still right. It was still it was only like a day old, and so the texture is really weird for him, and he's over there just like, had to spit it out. And I'm like, what's the matter with the texture? My kids are weird about textures of food. And if it's not a good texture, they won't eat it. And they'll cough it up. But, both my sons work at a dispensary.
Oh, both?
So, yeah, both of them do. And so, they have a lot of good product. They have access to. And I'm like, I just have so much stuff. I don't know what to do with it. So I'm learning how to make, cook with it. Have you ever, okay, all right, so decarbing it, I'm going to tell you my little secret in decarbing, and then I have a really good recipe. Do you want to hear my recipe?
Yeah.
Okay, so you take your weed, your cannabis, the flower, and you get it off all of the stems, because you don't want stems and visible seeds in it, because it'll make it taste wacky. All right, so you put it in one of those electric skillets at 250, because you can control the temperature in there. And put the lid on it. And you let it sit for 30 minutes-ish at 250, and it decarbs. You'll notice it'll turn a little brown. And I'll kind of take the pan, I'll turn it off, and I'll kind of take the pan, and I'll do a little jiggling of the pan. Kind of move it side to side. So then you take all of the flour out, and in the bottom of the pan, and people are going to go, oh my God, I can't believe she did this. Those little red hairs, those little trisome things, I leave a lot of them in the pan. And then I'll put a little bit of bacon grease in. And then so if you're kosher and you don't do bacon grease, then you just get the animal lard. Because the fat, you want the fat. Because the fat will absorb it. And so you put a little bit of lard in the pan, and then you fry you some potatoes in that.
Oh, that is so good.
Oh my goodness. Delish. The little red hairs are delicious. They don't have really that much taste to it. Not like the green flowery part. That part to me just tastes like green flour. Mm-hmm. So I'm not a real big, that's delicious fan. You know, I'm usually like, that stuff sucks. Blah. You know, but the little red hairs in it make a wonderful southern fried potatoes. I like mine a little crispy, so I cook mine at about 350. And so I'll cook it for about 15, 20 minutes-ish until they're nice and kind of crispy.
That's how the mama just came out of you.
That's how the mama came out of me. And so, and that's what I call get high potatoes. Because afterwards, you're such in a good mood. And, you know, and so you're very relaxed and you don't care about having to wash the dishes because it's no big deal. And you got YouTube with a good playlist in the background. You know, so you're a little buzzed up, you're doing the dishes, the house gets clean.
That's what you call a baked potato.
I was calling them get hot potatoes.
Twice baked.
Oh my God. Okay, so twice baked potatoes. Okay, we got to come up with a recipe. Oh, I know. On the twice baked potatoes. So you take out, you decarb your weed, you leave the red hairs in the pan, and then you scoop out your baked potato stuff in the middle. Butter. You know, I don't like the way can of butter tastes.
Oh, okay. Add something to it.
I'm going to have to, you know what I think I will do is I think I will go to where somebody's made it professionally, because if you take it and you do it in a press, you don't have that funny taste. Mm-hmm. It's when you infuse the leaf with something and then you create the emulsion that you have that funny taste. And I don't like that funny taste. Mm-hmm. I'm like, 'cause if it's like, I'll take a bite of an edible and if it tastes like weed, I'm done. I don't care how high it will make me. It doesn't make a difference. I don't like the taste of it. That's why I don't do mushrooms. I mean, and I just never got a buzz off of them, but mushrooms I think are just disgusting. Who wants to grind up a bunch of dirt in your mouth? Really? I'm like, that's what they taste like. They taste dirty and funky, and they taste like
mushrooms.
I think.
Like, not like...
No, I'm talking magical mushrooms.
Oh, okay. I was like... I mean, I'm sure they probably taste similar, but I'm saying like...
Oh, no, I mean, because you can grill a shiitake or a portobello, and it's like slap your mama delicious. But no, you can't heat up psychedelic mushrooms or you kill off the toxin. You know, so then it's like, why did you spend $75 for that, you know? But I was like, man, shrooms, I'm like, tastes like ground up something or other. I'd have to take 100 capsules in order to get the amount that I need because of my body weight. So I'm like, hell no. I don't want to take 100 capsules and then wait 3 hours. You know, it's like you forget that you done take... What's
this? Coming on.
Exactly.
There it is.
I'd be sitting there like, I forgot that I even did that. Why? Well, because I was making soap, and then I went and painted, and then we did a podcast.
And I smoked, so I was
already... smoked again, you know. Well, they say that cannabis inhibits the uptake of the mushroom, but also is like, so you're supposed to like not do cannabis for X amount of time before you do your shrooms. Then you do your shrooms, and then as it's starting to wane off, you smoke a joint, and it's supposed to bring it back up.
Oh, shit.
So, or you can do something with lemon juice. Lemon juice potentiates the mushrooms.
Oh.
He's looking at me like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is it potentiate? Oh, yeah, it potentiates that. That's what I was going to. But, you know, I was like, so 2021, I was like, 2020 was supposed to be that year of pure vision, clear vision. And I'm like, clarity in your vision. Because we really got to see people for who they are and what they are and who they are. And I was like, some of it good, some of it bad. It was weird because when I started really finally speaking my truth, and like, and it's been a year. I lost a lot of friends. Lots of friends I lost. And then I gained more friends than what I lost.
For every one you lost, you gained two.
Oh yeah, and it was really weird. It was really strange because I did not anticipate that at all. And that part kind of bothered me for a while. And then I realized a lot of things about those particular people not being in my life. And I was like, man, my anxiety decreased immensely because I felt, for whatever reason, I was like, I think people have perceptions of other people and they try to push that perception as if that's you. And then people grow and change and they want you to accept their growth and change. And when you have your growth and change, they don't want to always give you that same respect back. And then it was that, it was like, sometimes people are only in your path for a short distance. And I'm like, true.
The seasons.
It may be maybe a day, a week, a month, a season, a year, 6 years, a decade, whatever. But it doesn't mean that everybody's going to be with you forever, and it's like, God bless it. That's scary. I used to dream about Alfred Hitchcock. And I dreamed like this from like 3 to 11. Not 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., but from age of 3 to like age of 11. And I've never forgotten the dream. And I'm like, it's 50 years of dreaming this, or having this dream. And he's like, he and I are in a room. I never see me, but I know it's me because he's talking to me. And it's a smoky room and it's dark. And it's Alfred Hitchcock because I know who Alfred Hitchcock is. And he looks at me and he tells me in this dream that I'm totally alone, that I have nobody in my family left, and that I am totally on my own. You don't have friends, you don't have family, your mother's gone, your father's gone, your brother, goes through the whole rigmarole, and I remember, as a kid, you remember only the nuclear family, your mom, your dad, your siblings, and I'm sure, and I didn't even think so much about friends or whatever, but that's the basic intention of this dream, and it's so weird, and then it was like in 2020, and it was like one day I woke up, and that's exactly how I felt, was that I had that I was totally by myself on that, and that's that moment that light or epiphany comes through. And, who am I? What am I doing? What's my life purpose? What's this? What's that? And whether you want to call it a rock bottom or whatever, because I didn't feel like it was really totally a rock bottom. It was a great epiphany for me at that moment. And then it was like, well, there's only one direction, and that's up. So let's move it up. Let's go take this. Let's kick life up a notch or two. And start doing what you want to do and being who you want to be and experiencing that. And so, and I think that's where the creative stuff has started kind of coming out. So I've been making these little kits, as you want to call them, and they're Bible-based spells, I guess. It's like. And somebody looks at me and they're like, oh my God, what have you done? And I was like, scripture works. And they're like, you can't be this and that.
Who says you can't be this and that?
And I was like, why do I have to be labeled at all of being one thing or another or whatever? I was like, we don't have to have labels of who we are. What's the deal? And they were like, well, doing spells is like witchcraft, and of course when they say witchcraft, they've got to whisper it,
That old Southern way.
It's like cancer of the 70s, you know. And so I'm like, define what a witch is.
Just
What's a witch?
in there, someone does a spell casting.
You know, what's spell casting?
Basically prayers.
I was like, when you really think about it, you know, it was like, okay, so you have churches that have particular rituals. Okay, the Catholic Church calls it the ritual of Mass, and how you celebrate Mass.
And that sequence each time.
And it
Like the candles in order and
exactly. Yeah, you walk in to the sacred space holding the holy book up and the different
sage and the
Frankincense with the little
the little sister, you know. So I was like, so the Catholic Church is kind of pagan in belief there,
and then the rosary.
And the rosary. What's the difference between rosary and mandala beads? Is that what they're called? The little mandala beads? The little Buddhist prayer beads. She's like, I'm not Buddhist.
Yeah.
Hell, I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's very similar.
It's the same concept. It's just like one's from over in the Roman area, and the other one is over in the Asian area. You know, but they're doing the same thing. They're counting their prayers or their ritual through there. And I was like, but people will flip out because it's got a cross on it. You know, or, you know, and it's like, the Jews have ritual. What other Christian I mean, I know there's other Christian religions that they have their different rituals.
Well, Judaism.
Do what?
Judaism.
Judaism. So you got Judaism, Catholicism, you know, I don't know, Protestants might not. I don't know if they have, I think only when they do.
Well, like the light of the candles.
The lighting of the candles, okay. So different, I mean, every religion essentially has a ritual and how they celebrate or experience their spirituality or their religion or their faith or their spiritual. I guess we're considering it a spiritual experience. And I was like, so what's the difference? And I was like, so when you're casting a spell, whether you're doing a money chant or a love chant or whatever, you know, as long as... I was going to say, as long as it's not manipulating the free will of others. And I was like, even in a prayer, you can manipulate the free wills of others.
Please let so-and-so call me back.
You know.
Please let so-and-so go on a date with me.
Yeah, Lord Jesus, you know, and I'm not making fun because I'm a really big Christian girl. I love me some Jesus. He's the most magical, mystical dude that ever walked this earth. So, I'm like, yeah. But anyway, you know, or, you know, they're like, please make him stop drinking or stop hitting me or whatever. You're still I mean, even though that to me is a pretty ding-dang appropriate prayer, you know, you're still manipulating the free will of another person. You know, so we're talking, you know, like, well, you're not supposed to be manipulating the free will of another person because that's what the pagans do, you know, and I'm just putting that in quotation mark there. But, you know, it's like you sit there and you think about it, and it was like, really, spells aren't any different than a prayer, a mantra, an affirmation, and, you know, unless you're really doing something of a negative vibration to another person. And then it takes it into a different realm and, you know, a different realm, a different form of vibration or energy. What do you think, Matthew?
Yeah, I think once it goes to dark, it becomes... I want to say manipulative, but I feel like there's a different word for it. Twisted, almost.
Twisted, yeah. I mean, because, you know, it's like, even in a spell, and I think people don't realize about consequence and the vibration of consequence. So in a spell, And it's and this is the girl that used to do love spells, and then I always wondered why things were jacked up, or there was something jacked up within that, and it was you can't manipulate towards a particular person to change something that they don't already feel. So if it's like this person can't stand your ass, and you're in there trying to do a spell for them to become your lover or your partner, it will not be a good relationship. And you know, and you try to explain that, and people don't get it. And I'm like, because you're manipulating, but it's only, it's kind of like, so mote it be. So if it's not supposed to happen, it won't happen. Okay, well, you know what?
Not so much, because when you start taking fate, you're finagling fate. Now, if you cast a spell that says, please bring the one I'm meant to be with to me, that's different, because that's just calling to your highest vibration.
Exactly. What's the difference in that and a prayer? Dear Lord, put my future spouse in my path. Allow me to meet that person and connect with them. It is no different.
And that's something kind of compared to what we already talked about before, because remember we were talking about like how people mess with the flow. That's not messing with the flow. You're just requesting what you... It's almost like I see a river and you're saying, please put this in my river path so it'll come to me. You're not messing with the flow of the river. You're just asking that little toy be put in the path to where you can get to it.
If that rubber duck is meant for me, please put it in that path. And then if that rubber duck is meant for you, and when I look at, so if all right, let's say so here, let's say you have a crush. I'm going to use that word crush. You got a crush on someone and you'd like to date them. And you could, put that vibration or put that spell or put that prayer or affirmation or whatever you want to call it, that place this person in my path if we are meant to be connected. But then you have to also add in what level of connecting is the expectation. Because if you say, place them in my path so that we may meet each other or connect, you meet each other, you pass each other at 7-Eleven, where he actually bumped into you and spilled some coffee on you, and you wiped it off, and he went his way and you went your way. You connected, correct?
Right.
But in passing,
so it's kind of like, I think it's, for me, I look at spells, prayers, mantras, affirmations, whatever, as putting in what is my exact intention and affirmation for that to be successful or exhibiting or demonstrating in my life. And I was like, and it's really a prayer and a spell are the same ding dang things. And 90% of the time, because I'm going to say 10% of the spell work could probably be classified as dark or manipulative, but 90% of your spell work is for good stuff. It's for justice. It's for, it's like you do a spell for when you go to court, that you either soften the blow or, because you did something stupid and you're like, just have mercy on me, or karmic or, whatever. It's, whatever we're doing through there, we're trying to enhance that vibration, and a prayer and a spell just
different names for the same thing.
Exactly. Different names for the same thing. It's the same thing.
Different recipes for the same cake, yeah.
It's just like one might have rum and the other one has rum flavoring.
One might have lemon juice, one might have real lemons.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, I just look at it that way, and it's like people, I think, stock way too much energy into, that they did a spell, they must be, no, a spell isn't any different than a prayer.
Stop looking at our differences, start looking at how we're the same, and you'll understand.
Well, and it's, people like to focus on the differences, especially if they're uncomfortable with the difference. And I was like, and I think a lot of it has to do with the intention of that other person and how they show that difference, I guess, in it. So if like you're so easily offended by everybody that's doing the same thing that you're doing, what is it that you're truly uncomfortable with?
There was one quote that Mother Teresa said one time, which was kind of made me think about. It's like, if you judge, you cannot love.
She was weird. Just saying. She was weird. People have said some really strange things about her, but I agree with that. If you're too busy focusing on being judgmental. But what's the difference between being judgmental and okay, all right. So you have people that just keep it real, and they look at it as it is. It was like some people don't want to talk about the elephant in the room, and then you have your one person that says, "Okay, we need to talk about the elephant in the room." And then they're like, oh, that's being judgmental. No, you're not being judgmental. You're saying that this is something that we need to fix.
Right, let's look at this.
And people, so what's the difference between talking about the elephant in the room and being judgmental? What's the difference? What do you think is the difference?
There's a sense of harshness whenever it comes to being judgmental and not. I'm seeing like a tunnel closing in, so it's a very like almost limited perspective versus like whenever we're talking about just saying it like it is, because I think it's, well, you could also have this, but you also have this as well. So just having a broader perspective of looking at it in different ways, versus just like, this is how it is. And does that make sense? Kind of. Yeah,
it does make sense. But one thing that keeps coming to my mind is that old phrase about you can either be a part of the solution or be a part of the problem. I think being when you're judgmental, or you have that level of being judgmental, you're not offering any solutions. You're not willing to play a role in the resolution of what the elephant in the room is about.
So here's the elephant in the room, but I'm not going to give you any options how to fix it. Just, there it is. Let's look at it and judge it.
Yeah, that's judgmental to me.
Look down our nose at it.
Because I think you could say the same thing
in a nicer way.
Not even about the nicer way. I think one could still be as harsh as it would appear in the judgmental view, but then you have that comma or a semicolon, and then you're adding in, and this is how we're going to work on it together to fix it, or this is what we can do to get you in the right direction, and
this
I think
is the treatment you need to fix the problem.
Exactly, and I think people look at because of how you begin.
It's kind of like our system, like where we where we cast off someone who's a drug addict, but instead of offering solutions, it's just, oh, you have to pay this fine or pay this amount of money or spend this time in jail.
But
there's never a, let's get you into a rehab program, let's get your life direction so you don't go back to the drug. It's, you just have a problem, not here's ways to better your life and get you on your path.
No, I mean, and it can be, homelessness. I've been watching Soft White Underbelly. Have y'all ever watched that? It's a very intense channel. His name is Mark, and I want to say Laita, I think. And he started out as taking pictures. He was a photographer, and then he ended up with a video recorder and started doing video interviews with people that would be considered the dregs of society, homeless and addicts and pimps and prostitutes.
The
and,
ones who had leprosy and Jesus.
oh yeah, definitely. You know, the social misfits and outcasts, and it's so interesting listening to them, and it's like, just like you said, we are really not that different. You know, we can look around at everybody and try to think that we're better than them or less than them or whatever. And I was like, deep down, we're really not that different. And watching them, and it was like, there was one person I would not be very comfortable sitting down and having a glass of iced tea or a pop with or whatever. And that person I would not be. And that's my own hang up on that one. Yeah, the vibration on that one particular one is just like really bizarre, and I don't think I could deal with it. It. I'm not being judgmental because I'm like, do what you want.
You're just reading off of.
I'm reading off of that vibe. Yeah. That vibe. They're a good person. I'm a good person. Together, we ain't good people.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, yeah, that one would not work out well. So, but I was like, every single one of them, and people, you know, and you look at it and you go, you would sit down and like hang out with this 18-year-old prostitute that's been on the street since she was 11. Yeah.
Some of them have really interesting stories about.
I'd break bread with them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's like, whenever you live a certain life, sometimes you do take things for granted or forget about certain things. But whenever, and this actually brings up a movie that I saw last night in Disney. It's called Soul. It's something new. It was really interesting. But whenever you look at people that have struggled, like people that he'd interviewed with, it definitely gives you a different perspective because of things that they've experienced. So I think it's really interesting just hearing a different side and seeing other perspectives and seeing anything else other than yourself.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I mean, it's kind of like you know, I think we live in our own little bubble or a corner of the world. This is my reality. My reality may not be somebody else's reality, you know, and for me it was, for every moment that I thought my life was crappy or that I experienced some horrible, there's people that experience it a lot worse than I will ever in my life. And I learned, you know, and I guess it was like one of those 2-month journeys where you learn, stop being sorry for yourself. There's nothing to be sorry for, you know. And then and it was, I was having, actually, why this prayers and spells and everything kind of came up was, my husband and I were talking, and I said, I can't believe that people at work, you know, I work in a spiritual field, you know, but I also do, you know, natural healing and holistic health, and but there's a lot of that spiritual woo-woo aspect of it too, and I said, a lot of the Christians don't accept what I do for a living because they think it's devil or, you know, witchcraft or whatever. And then I was like, and then a lot of the non-Christians that I work with or in the spiritual realm or whatever shun against me because I'm Christian. I was like, you know, and I was like, for every Bible thumper, and I'm going to use that term very lovingly, that wants to condemn what I do, y'all need to get your scripture out and start reading it, and read about about vibration, read about healing, read about essential oils, read about the crystals, because they're all in scripture, every single one of them. You know, how many prayers, especially in the prophets, the books of the prophets, and then even in the New Testament, there's prayers, the Lord's Prayer, are in there that have a vibrational tendency to perform some kind of miracle or, you know, take the energy or the vibration and shift it for the good. I was like, there is no difference in the words or the phrase of Amen, Salah, and so mote it be. It's all about your intention. Because you can sit there and be the most demonic mofo in the world and sit on the front pew of the church and say, praise Jesus 30 times.
You could be on the stage.
You know. Oh, definitely. And saying the same thing. And the minute you walk out that door, you're doing bad things to people, you know, et cetera, which we don't even need to go down that path, you know. And then you can have somebody that's casting or doing a spell for peace, love, and harmony in the world and close it with so mote it be, and then they leave and they go work in a soup kitchen serving soup to the homeless. But we want to be so quick to point a finger and call that person a witch, you know, as opposed to never saying about the pastor or the lady who sits up in the front pew and the abuses and the atrocities that they commit.
Well, like, I get tired of that because, like, you know, especially being in the South, everybody's so quick to be like, oh, they got a good upbringing. You know, they're Christian. They this, they that. I'm like, sometimes your religion does not make you a good or a bad person. No. Your intentions make you a good or a bad person.
You know, people confuse religion with spirituality. And they are two different things. Religion is a man-made, comes from a book or a box, you know, boxed in. It is a set of rules or rules of engagement for a particular belief system. Okay, it has nothing to do with spirituality because people can go to church every Sunday and Wednesday for 30 years and never have a spiritual experience. Not really know what the Holy Spirit or Spirit is. You know, it's just the same thing, just a different name. And then you can have somebody that's never set foot in a religious building, you know, organized religious building, and they find God or whatever you want to call creator every day in their path when they walk.
Spiritually evolved, yeah.
Oh yeah, you know, and it's like people are really
like
confused.
About, like even back in Christian religion, like Jesus, how he, you know, when he attacked the priest in one of his journey, you know, like he despised.
Oh, he threw over tables.
Yeah.
And, you know, and people, you know, were like, oh, well, that was because they were exchanging money. No, they weren't exchanging money. They were doing bad things to people in there. And they were...
read it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, read it again and really look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm going to say, in my personal belief, that King James has watered it down. You know, watered down the, you know, they made, well, the Deuteronomist and then, you know, made all women whores in the Bible except for the mother of Mary, like Ruth and Naomi. So if you were in the bloodline of Christ and you were a female, because Ruth and Ruth is in that bloodline. You weren't a bad woman. You know, you came from a good family. You know, they came from a real good family.
They got good genes.
Good genes, son de la gente buena, you know, whatever you want to look at, you know, and then women that were not in Jesus's bloodline, other than Priscilla, who was married to, I think, Thomas or whatever, or Philip. Priscilla, I look at Matthew and he's like, I'm pagan. I have no damn idea.
Well, I used to know that Bible front to back. It's been a minute.
He's like, Priscilla.
Priscilla, queen of the desert.
Yeah. As that thunderbolt hit him in the head. No. But it was like, so they made like all women, you know, most women kind of bad. Unless you were in Jesus's bloodline, then you were a good, you know, holy woman. But I mean, there's just like things that they manipulated in Scripture in order to have control over the people, and the guilt and manipulation. As if you read like Targum or you read the early Aramaic writings that were from the mystics, I guess they call them Syriac mystics.
The sages.
The sages, and they're talking, and it was like, that wasn't what that really meant. It was like in the part where he says, I am the resurrection, and they are like, he is a resurrected. Well, the Aramaic word for resurrection at that time was also the same word for reincarnation.
Interesting.
So was he the reincarnation? Because I could say he's been here a million times over. Elijah and Moses, maybe, I don't know. And then or is it the resurrected? Well, we're going to choose the resurrected because that's the message that we want to send. Whereas in actually, the Aramaics of that time believed every day you die and every day you're born again. So it's like every day is a new day. Every day is an opportunity for a new life and doing good stuff. It's about leaving. They believe that we are in season or we're out of season. We're ripe or we're unripe. And if we're unripe, then it is the village's or your community's job to help you get right. That's the difference in the vibration. So when people talk about a spell or a prayer or an affirmation or a mantra, whatever, I was like, it's about getting into season. And when what doesn't make a difference which way you look at it, it's still the same. The same intention is to bring that positive, whole, aligned vibration to yourself through there. All right, so twice baked potatoes. All right, so you know that we decarbed and we left the little red hairs in there. So you take your baked potato and you open it up and you scoop all that stuff out and you put it in that pan with the red hairs. And put your butter and your cheese and your sour cream and all of that and mix that up together. And then put it back in your baked potato and bake it with this piece of bacon on top of it.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And then you bake it. And then if you don't want bacon, you can put steak if you want to be kosher. Oh, then you can't do that because then you got cheese. And you can't do meat and cheese if you're doing kosher diet. You just can't put meat and cheese together on the same plate. Can you imagine being told you can never have a cheeseburger? It's kind of like, dude, that's painful.
I had a cheeseburger yesterday, and I don't know like I was genuinely really hungry, but I don't know what it was about it. I didn't fully enjoy it. It was weird. I was like really hungry. I was like, oh yeah, cheeseburger sounds fine. But once I bit into it, I was like,
not so much.
Yeah, I was like,
I like it when my husband makes cheeseburgers or hamburgers. He's a good cook. He grills well, and that's about what I like, is doing that. But yeah, I was like, during coming out of this dark night of the soul thing, and I noticed like starting back and maybe like after 4th of July, August. Maybe like August, meat doesn't taste the same to me. I don't like meat.
It doesn't taste the same.
And I'm like, I have to and it's like,
I've thought about switching to salads and stuff like that, because like anytime that I eat meat, like it tastes good, but it doesn't appeal to me.
It doesn't even taste good to me now. And
yeah,
I'm like,
I was like, it doesn't appeal to me.
This is the girl that loves steak.
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't appeal. Unless I like really want meat, then I will go have a steak. But that's about the extent of it.
I'm not even feeling it. And it's like, it has to be meat that I've actually like prepared.
I see what you're saying.
It's like I go to a restaurant or somebody else cooks and it doesn't taste I'm like, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's about vibration or something through there. So, and I was like, going back, so the twice baked potatoes make me a happy girl. I'm just saying. But, when you look at prayers, spells, mantras, I mean, they're all the same thing. They really are. They all end with something that closes it, that says we are in agreement, whether it's amen, salah, or so mote it be, and that please make it happen. Please! And I think that when I look at this and I'm like, it's the judgmental part of it, and it's that we tend to look over and go, we don't understand, so we're going to be harsh about our perspective. Because normally, if there's something that's right there in front of us, most people that they don't understand, most people are going to find the negative in it.
And we'll still Magnolia women.
Still Magnolia women. Oh, yeah.
If they're the church, if you want to gossip, sit by me.
If you want to gossip, sit by me. That's usually how it is, too.
Thanks, Grandma.
Makes me think of, God, I can't remember Kim Wayans on In Living Color.
Oh, I didn't mean to say nothing, but...
Don't you be talking about Miss McGillicuddy. No, that woman like a second mother to me.
Who else before dishes back that she bought 20 years ago?
Yeah, and her breath smells like a tuna can, And you're just like, oh, goodness. She's a hoot. So, but thank you so much for joining me here today. It looks like we're a little bit over an hour. We're right at an hour and 56 seconds or something. So, and I know Matthew's got the family calling, and we all got things to do. It's that Sunday after Christmas. So I'm going to go home and make some more stuff. So they're actually testing the soap for me. I made several bars of soap. It was so funny. Brandon picked him up, and he looks at me and goes, why are they so oily? That's too much oil.
Oh, that looks cool.
That's what happens. It gets all those little things when you got too much oil. I put too much. My oils are made out of the soap base, the glycerin, like these. This is out of the goat's milk. And then I add castor oil and shea butter to them. Shea butter to moisturize, castor butter for more suds in there. And then this particular one has coconut and coffee grounds in it. So I call it my Coco Moco Loco. And it's to bring up your, elevate your mood. So you start your day out, or end your day if you need to, because the coffee grounds and that are for disconnecting from shush and to awaken you.
I guess that's why I drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, usually it's to awaken me and make me, get that coffee rush. So they're going to try out my soaps that I made for the shop. And we're actually going to have that boutique opening up pretty quickly. And in there we'll have my little products. They are called Spiritual Works. No, Scriptural Works. You can tell I had a little too much cannabis. Actually, Spiritual Works, I think, sounds better. And so usually it'll have a scripture with the reference to the scripture. And it'll have a little bath bar soap so that you wash yourself with it. And then after you do that part of the ritual, then you'll have a candle ritual to do that'll have a scripture and a designated candle to go with it. So, sound cool?
Sounds cool.
All right. So now I got to go and find some stones to go with it as well. Because I think the stones would just be like the topping on the cake.
You can put the stone in the candle.
No, I didn't make the candle.
Oh.
Aline makes the candle. She made a bunch of candles out there. We have some chakra candles out there now. So we can get with the rhythm on that. Very cool. So peace, love, and harmony. Thank you, Gabby, for being here today. And thank you, Matthew. I bet he's going to go home and go to bed. That's what happens when you do like 30, 45 minutes worth of sound bathing and Reiki as you get all mellowed out. And then you're thinking about, wouldn't it be really cool to be like laying down right now? I would like that, And I'm thinking it'd be really cool for me to be laying down at the beach on a sunny day, minimal wind. And
that heat just,
yeah, that's where I am. So I'm going to go to the beach in my head. Do what?
Right where the water hits your feet.
Oh, God, I love that. That feels so good. All right, Florida. Cali. No, actually, I won't go to California again.
Their water's cold.
I
like their water.
I'm like, yeah, I can't go to California. Gavin Newsom. I was like, we'd be in quarantine for 3 weeks.
And then plus more.
Yeah, but by summer.
Yeah. It'll be over by summer. No, I don't think so. Hate to say that. You know, I think COVID's going to be around for a while, and I think all of the after effects of it will linger through. So let's do our best as people to raise that vibration. So peace, love, and harmony. Think about groovy things to do this week as we close out 2020 and start thinking about who you want to be in 2021. Ding, ding.